time for the Suffering Podcast. The performer stands at a bus stop that never lists a destination, clutching a folded map that changes every time it's opened. Streetlights flicker like a half-remembered applause, and the air smells of cold coffee and old dreams. Somewhere down the road, a stage exists, but the road refuses to admit how far away it truly is. Auditions become locked doors in endless hallways, each one labeled almost, maybe, or not this time. The performer wears faces the way others wear coats, hoping one will finally fit long enough to be recognized. Mirrors stop reflecting a person and begin reflecting questions. Is it enough? Or only close enough to pretend? At night, the performer carries the craft like a lantern through a storm, shielding the flame with trembling hands. The rain is rejection, the wind is doubt, and still the light survives, small, stubborn, and alive. And even when no one is watching, the performer keeps moving forward, because the story only ends when belief is abandoned. I'm Kevin Donaldson, always here with Mike Felice, and welcome to the Suffering Podcast. If you're a fan of overcoming adversity and overcoming suffering, then we're for you, because that's what we do here, and that's the stories that we highlight. So do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, please comment, ring the bell so you can get notified of all of our new content, and now you can join. Don't forget to share out every episode, because it really helps us on YouTube, as well as the Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And of course, follow us on all social media so you can find out what we're up to when we're up to it. On this episode, the first recording of 2026, I have a very new friend, but he comes highly vetted by somebody who I care for very much, and that's Garry Pastore, to talk about the suffering of an actor. You, my friend, have followed a dream, and that in and of itself is an admirable thing, but you've been able to do it successfully for 40 years. Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure to be here.
Before we get into anything, and there is a lot, because you've been in some of my favorite movies and favorite TV shows, so we got a lot to talk about. I have to throw a big shout out to our marquee sponsor. That's Toyota of Hackensack. We don't trust anybody as police, and we certainly don't trust anybody as podcasters, but we do trust the guys over at Toyota Hackensack. So if you're looking for a car, go to ToyotaHackensack.com and let them find you a car, but do not forget to tell them that the Suffering Podcast sent you. So, Garry, each week, and we've been doing this since the beginning of time, we take a question from our audience. This question comes from Billabong86. You, my friend, are in one of the darkest industries that I just like tiptoed in the water, and I saw a little bit of it, which is the entertainment business. So Billabong writes, how do you protect yourself from the darkness that you encounter? Because you see so much.
I mean, darkness, snuff films and porn are dark. I don't consider the film business all that dark, although in the early days when you get into this business and you don't know anybody and you have no contacts and you're a little bit more susceptible to getting taken advantage of. There are so many creeps out there, casting creeps, people that promise you the world, dangle things, the carrot on a stick in front of you. Unfortunately, women seem to go for the carrot more because they want to be starlets, and they get hurt, and sometimes worse. Mm-hmm. I think that now at this stage of my life, I'm impenetrable. Nobody's going to put me in a dark space that I don't want to be in.
I think you have the burden of knowledge.
It's the burden of knowledge. Yeah. It's this wise old sage. And what I would love to do is help somebody that's new to the business, that has these questions. So they can follow me on Instagram and DM me and say, hey, man, I got some questions for you about the film business. I'm a pretty open book. And I can't get to everybody, but I absolutely, if somebody's got questions about somebody, listen, you got Google now. Okay, if there's any question about anybody or anything in the business that you might seem is a little sus, just Google it.
You know, it's good that you do that. You reach out to somebody. Was there somebody when you were younger that did that for you?
No, I'm a street guy. I grew up in the streets of Brooklyn. In fact, I just got together with all my old friends. We were in this gang called Kelly Park Boys. I mean, my parents moved me out of Brooklyn when I was 12 or 13 because I started getting into trouble. We had gang fights. I just got together. We all had lunch in Michael's in Brooklyn the other day. And these are guys I haven't seen 40, 50, 60. I'm 60, 60-something. So I haven't seen some of them in 45 years. You know, we got together and we were shooting the shit, and it was great.
Well, that comes with an air of protection. You know, when you've seen enough, because there even at this stage, and again, I say this very candidly. I've been doing this show for 5 years, and when I first started out on this show, I saw some things I really didn't like from other people who were trying to. They put it under the disguise that we're trying to help you, but you know, it all becomes transactional. They see something in you that they want a part of, so they will manipulate you and they'll try to mold you into the direction that they want you to go. Unfortunately, you don't find out until it's almost too late that they have ulterior motives behind what they're doing.
I call it the potted plant. In other words, you go to a party and there's that potted plant. He moves from here to get closer to here, to get closer to here. Yeah, I brought people into my realm, which I've made my circle very small now.
Yeah.
Because of people that I've been kind to, I've gone out of the way for, and it goes back to the old adage, no good deed goes unpunished. And it's as true as true. Every time I've stuck my neck out for somebody, it's come back to haunt me. So I stopped doing it. And they could call me a prick. I've had an actor got in touch with me on Facebook or whatever, and he started threatening me. Some guy up here, oh, you're a piece of shit. You don't help other Italian actors. Oh, first of all, you don't know me. You know nothing about me. Don't come off like that.
Well, that's how I protect myself. I protect myself is there is a bit of a proving ground, okay? In order for you to get into my circle is pretty much impenetrable at this point in my life at 51 years old. And that has come from bad damage over the years. You know, you get close to somebody and then they show you who you are, but you don't want to believe who they are. And then they do the exact same thing that they're showing you early on in hindsight's 2020. And you go, oh, so what I do now is I rely on those 2-3 people that are in my inner circle. I will ask their advice. I will take their counsel because they may be seeing something that I don't see.
Right.
And this just happened. Like this, somebody who was real close to me sort of did some stuff that wasn't right. And it's so stupid because all you had to do was just take the ride and we're all going to go up. Everybody's going up. But unfortunately, people think they're like, they either try to climb over your back or climb on top of your back, and it never works. You know, people have tried to replicate this show over and over again. And I don't have I don't have a branding on any of this show, but it's a concept, right? So they try to steal your intellectual property. And my partner, when he was alive, he used to get so mad at this when we'd say this. I'd be like, dude, just sit back. They're not going to be able to do it the way we do it. Relax. Mm-hmm. It's not going to last. And sure enough, it doesn't last. So I protect myself from darkness that surrounds me by the people who I consider my friends, and that there are very few of them.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. It's like, you know the situation that's going on with Mike Marino. I'm very protective over him. I read that stuff on the internet, and I saw red. You know, how can you go and say things about somebody that you really don't know without doing your research? Why didn't they go to a family member or a close friend like me?
They got to be first.
They got to be first. It's like, what are you, a fucking ghoul?
Yeah, that's what they are.
You're a ghoul.
Yep.
I wanted to take this guy. I would have gone to jail.
Do you know how much panic that particular guy that you're talking about, do you know how much panic because people love Mike for what he does and what he's done.
Oh, I want to break his jaw.
And he caused so much panic. When I heard that, like I just started, not hyperventilating. I was like, oh my, because he was just here. I was like, no, come on, not this one. I just lost another friend of mine. That guy was 102 and it was his time. But, you know, I was like, what is.
I was in Mike's driveway crying my eyes out. Is that fair to me?
No. In
my T-shirt and my slippers and my pajamas because of this schmuck. Yeah. You know who you are. And I'm not that guy to play with. Believe you and I are going to have a day.
I always tell people, keep talking and you're going to hurt yourself.
Oh, believe me, I'm pissed off at him.
So Billabong 56, thank you for sending that question in.
Yeah, buddy, now you know.
Keep sending in your questions and we will try to get them on the air. Are you ready to enhance your skills and provide the best care to those who need it the most? I'm Kevin Donaldson.
I'm Sherry Alsip, Our trauma-informed training is here to help, and we've been traveling across the country delivering this essential need to departments and organizations of every size, shape, and makeup.
We come to you with on-site training so you don't have to worry about travel or scheduling conflicts.
This isn't just a class, it's an interactive experience. You'll learn directly from subject matter experts who teach from a victim's point of view, putting you in the shoes of those who have experienced trauma.
This approach allows you to understand trauma on a deeper level and to better serve the individuals you work with.
We'll guide you through new interview techniques that prioritize a victim-centered approach, ensuring safety and empathy in every conversation.
And for those of you in law enforcement or other fields, our training includes post-credits, giving you the extra added value and recognition for your commitment to professional growth.
We offer references upon request to show just how effective our training can be.
Don't miss the opportunity to improve your understanding of trauma and make a real difference in the lives of those you serve. Get in touch with us today by going to sherryalsop.com and let us bring trauma-informed training to your organization.
Together, we can make a lasting impact.
So why don't you tell our audience a little bit about how you grew up and where you grew up? I know you grew up in Brooklyn. You grew up you're a street kid. And
yeah, I was a street urchin. I just got together with Joey and John Frischilla and their brother Franny Frischilla, who was a basketball genius. He was the coach of St. John's and Manhattan College back in the day. And now he's an ESPN analyst. The Frischillas are pretty famous guys. We just had lunch at Michael's in Brooklyn, and I bought their vodka sauce, which I'm going to give them a plug. It was fantastic. But it was great to see these guys again, you know.
There's nothing like having childhood friends who you reconnect with, because I've had this experience where you go and you haven't seen them 30 years and you pick up right away.
These were my next door neighbors. My parents actually took me out of Brooklyn to get me away because I was getting in so much trouble. Then they moved me to Staten Island. I got more trouble. So it didn't work. It backfired.
Well, so parents get their kids, they try to get their kids out of the bad area. And what happens is they bring the bad area to wherever the new section is.
Well, believe me, there was parts of Staten Island. It's just like, I don't know. When you're a street kid, you're a street kid. And street kids hang out with other street kids. Mm-hmm. You know, bookworms hang out with bookworms. Street kids hang out with street kids. And then, of course, you know, whatever. I did things. Got in trouble. Straightened my life out.
Was there something that made you go on, you know, get away from that? The bad stuff.
Intelligence. Yeah, I grew a brain. Came a little late in life. Came around 18, 19, I guess the brain started to actually form. I just knew I wanted different. My dad was a wise guy. Like an old school wise guy. Like he grew up around Lucky Luciano and Frank Costello. He worked at this place, Mara Brothers. He worked for Albert Anastasia, who I wound up playing twice in 2 different movies.
So did he ever regale you with some of the stories of these
Oh,
guys?
yeah. He basically told me that the life is not for me. He told me that the first time I got jammed up, I was, I think, 17, 18 years old. I was involved in a robbery theft ring, and I got caught. And I got arrested. I went to jail. In fact, I'd never forget, in the courtroom, he's looking at me he wanted to kill me. And I kept looking back at him. I'm thinking Dad's going to be all proud of me. But he took me in the back of the house by the tomato plants and opened up 2 folding chairs, very Casa Nostra-like. And he said, this is not for you. He goes, the world is full of rats and deceiving people. And
so you're probably talking about the 60s?
No, this was when this happened, 1979. 79, 80.
So you're getting into it, especially in the Mafia era.
Mafia was booming in 1980.
But you're starting to get into Rico. And once Rico hit, the mob sort of fell apart.
Exactly, fell apart. Now, listen, I didn't have a desire to be a wise guy, but I could have been. I mean, just from the people that I banged around with. And I banged around with heavy hitters till I worked in a club in Brooklyn that was run by wise guys. I worked at a restaurant.
What club in Brooklyn?
Pastels.
Pastels. You remember L'Amour's?
Yeah, of course. That was a rock club.
So his father owned L'Amour's.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, what a small world.
Yeah.
6 degrees.
Yeah, right.
And I worked in a restaurant that, was run by a guy. And yeah, I was around wise guys for most of my life. And I think that's why I portray them so well. I mean, I don't act when I go do a wise guy job. I'm just being me.
Well, that's Chaz Palminteri. That's
I just got off of Chaz's show.
Oh, no
We
kidding.
talked about it. No, we talked about it, and we have a lot in common. Chaz didn't recognize me, but I was in a Bronx Tale.
Where were you in a Bronx Tale?
Hey, Marie, get in the fucking car.
No!
Get in the car.
Leave me alone.
Come on, baby. You know I love you.
Bullshit.
Will you get in the fucking car?
Nice.
No, and, 7 guys read for that role. And the guy he filmed isn't the guy who actually wound up doing it. I wound up doing it. So, yeah, it was a pretty wild story. They were not happy with the guys that did that role. So they brought Robert De Niro and Chaz brought me in, and I did it.
I admire. So Chaz is actually. I want to take my wife there. Chaz is at MPAC doing a Bronx Tale by himself. I think in February. I want to take my wife to see it. I've seen it before, and the way he tells that story can only be done from firsthand experience. Just like the way when you play a wise guy, when you get locked into that part, the only way that can be done is you have to draw from some sort of personal experience.
Of course I do.
Yeah.
Of course I do.
Yeah.
And I never went around saying I'm a tough guy, but I'm a tough guy.
But you watched, growing up, you watched Mafia movies and things like this, and you've watched people misplay Mafia members.
Oh, my God, it drives me crazy.
So it happens with...
Like California, they'd grab a California guy.
Yeah.
Or they bring a star in. What was that show, Mobsters? It had all of these...
my
it
was
God.
Johnny Depp.
Well, Johnny Depp's not a bit... Listen, I worked with Johnny. Johnny did a great job as Whitey Bulger. In fact, he was so convincing. There was a guy that was enemies of Whitey Bulger wanted to kill Johnny Depp on the set because he felt it was... He transformed it to him.
But it was Christian Bale?
Yeah.
Christian Bale played Melvin Purvis, but he wasn't a gangster. He was a cop. Or no, wait. And Johnny Depp, I think, played Babyface Nelson or something like that.
Yeah. Well, he was young. But listen, again, I can't stand that they don't. There's so many Italian-American actors that grew up like I did.
But I see it, and that was where I was going to. So I see cop movies, right? And I see some of the things they do, some of the maneuvers they do, and they're small. The average person's not going to realize, but I'm watching it, I'm going, yeah, they didn't do their research.
Are you kidding? I was watching a show last night. And I believe me, it's cops and robbers for me. And I had my little stint with the police department, so. The crime scene was getting stomped all over. I said, nobody would ever do this. And they had the looky-loos behind it. I said, there would have been a sheet up or just not to show the body. They're never going to have journalists shooting a dead, a Vic laying on a hood of a car dead. Who did this?
There was only one movie that got the police world so perfectly on one aspect. So we've all seen Lethal Weapon. So Lethal Weapon was complete fiction because cops don't get in shootings and then go back to work that same day. It doesn't happen. That. One of the things they did get right is when the police psychiatrist came into police headquarters and wanted to talk to Mel Gibson, and he was avoiding her, didn't want to talk to her. That's the only realistic thing in that movie. I mean, it's so
a cartoon
realistic.
character.
Yeah, but until you got there.
Right.
So that's it. Always bothers me. But how did you get into acting? Like, you don't just wake up one day and say, "Hey, I want to be an actor."
I was in a band. I was in this band. There was one called The Orchard, and then I was in this band. Oh my God, I was in a band Strange Days, which was a Doors cover band.
Oh, it's Doors. Listen, we could go back and forth with Doors all day long.
I'm a big Jim Morrison.
Me too.
Guy. If you go on YouTube, you could see me singing Roadhouse and L.A. Woman and
Peace Frog. Peace Frog's my favorite.
Yeah, it's a good song.
It's got a great riff on it.
So I was in a battle of the bands, and the drama teacher from high school came and saw me. He said, "You got a great voice, and I'm doing West Side Story. Why don't you play Tony?" I said, "I don't want to cut my hair." And he's like, "Well, bro, the whole rock thing, it's going to be passé." I said, yeah, whatever. I thought about it. I did. I cut my hair, did West Side Story, and I got bit by the bug.
They talk about getting bit by the acting bug. Mm-hmm. Did that happen, or was this just something you did?
The battles we fight are hard and taxing on the soul. Fighting a battle that seems impossible to win. The stressful calls that give us wounds that cannot be seen.
These moments leave scars. They leave dents. Sometimes we just need to sit and talk over coffee.
Finding a moment of peace in the comfort of decompression with those whom you share difficulties. Sharing moments with those who are the only ones who understand. Our peace comes in the quiet moments we can share with our brothers and sisters.
It's just a moment to sit, listen, and let it out. We may be dented, but we are not broken. The Suffering Podcast, Dented Ace Coffee, was created to bring the peace to the protectors. Dented Ace Coffee is a tribute to my brother Mike Falace and all the others who couldn't find their peace. 100% of the proceeds will go directly to Dented Development Project so that we can begin to repair the dents caused by suffering in veterans, first responders, and their families. The Suffering Podcast's Dented Ace Coffee. Get yours today by visiting thesufferingpodcast.com.
Nah, it was, once I was on set, I got a taste for it. I'm trying to think of the first thing. I did a movie called Once Upon a Time in America.
Yeah, I know that movie.
I played a pickpocket. It was an extra role. I was in Williamsburg. I don't even know. You could probably see me in it. But I'm a flash in the pan. And then from there, I liked being on set. I thought it was cool. Then I got a gig on Pritzi's Honor. And I was on that for 2 weeks.
Kathleen Turner and Jack Nicholson.
I hung out with Jack. I took Jack out to a couple of the clubs so he can learn the lingo. So I took him to visit my friends downtown Brooklyn.
He's an interesting guy.
Oh, he was the greatest.
I mean, he did that Monkeys movie. That was the first movie he made. It was like a psychedelic. The band, the Monkeys. It was like a psychedelic thing, and he wrote it and directed it. And
I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, and that's how he got started.
I mean, the smartest thing he did was he didn't want to do the Joker, and he said, if you want me to play the Joker, I'm the Joker in perpetuity. Meaning that no matter who you cast as the Joker, I still get paid. So every Batman film where the Joker is in it, Jack Nicholson gets paid.
I didn't know that. I knew he gets back end from the first Batman.
He got back end, but in perpetuity. So he gets it through life. He didn't want to do the part, and they wanted him so bad. That's the deal he got. And you got to think about that with all the...
He made him an offer they couldn't refuse.
That's an offer he couldn't refuse.
So I know he made one of the smartest deals with the first Batman that he didn't get paid that much.
No, but he took it back in.
He took a big portion of the back end, and he made something like $500 million on that.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was something crazy.
I did merch.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So where did you go? So was it West Side Story, and then it just started dominoing?
No, I started doing soap operas. I think that's basically how I got my SAG card. I think it was from Ryan's Hope. I got my SAG card, which is in 1984. So now I got it over 40 years, 42 years.
Now, let me paint this picture. Your father, wise guy. What? Seeing his son.
He didn't dig it at all.
I can't imagine.
He didn't dig it at all, but he thought it was better than me doing a life term or getting killed. Yeah. Because the guys I hung out with were rough and tumble. I'm not kidding. I hung out with some wise guys. And when I worked in the club, I served everybody from John Gotti down.
Yeah.
I served Sammy the Bull. I served John. I could tell you what John drank. He drank vodka martinis. With olives, Tommy Karate, he drank White Russians. I served every lunatic son of a bitch. There was one guy, Joe Watts, he wanted me dead. He threw a fucking shot glass at me. I'm not kidding. You want to hear a great story?
Sure.
I was in the club. There's a bar like this, but big. And every wise guy hung out. It was called Gangster Corner, we used to call it. And any given night, there was 40 guys in there, button guys. So he comes in, and he used to make me part the Red Sea when he came in. Like, I had to open up the bar, make sure there was a spot for him. He drank Old Granddad neat with a club soda back. And he would come in with a couple of guys, usually bodyguards, Bobby Borriello, a lot of famous names.
Bobby Borriello, I know that name, yeah.
He used to come in with Bobby. He drank the whole granddad and club soda. One night he comes in, he used to say to me, never wanted to learn my name. He used to tell my name 100 times. He called me Blackie. He didn't want to call me Black. I said, my name's Gary. He didn't want to call me. He used to call me, hey, you, come here. Give me a drink. Give everybody a drink. Give each a drink. So he goes, give that guy a drink. And one night he goes, give each a drink. So I gave each, meaning everybody, I gave the whole bar a drink. And they all, hey, Chio, Chinda, cheers. And he goes, hey, you, come here. What'd you do? I said, I did what you told me to do. I gave each of them a drink. He goes, Joe Each Chidikio. The guy's name was Joe Each. He wanted to buy one drink. I bought the whole bar a drink. I thought he said, give each of them a drink. And he threw a glass at me.
Now, you're a kid at this point, right?
I was 23.
You're 23.
24 years old.
You got some serious guys. You know who these guys are.
Oh, my God.
That make your asshole pucker up a little bit.
Pucker up. I had to go to a sit-down with this man. And then I found out he's the backup shooter on the Castellano hit. He killed like 30 guys. He just got out. He hated me, this guy.
There's a guy who lived in town. He prosecuted the Iceman.
Yeah, all right.
Kuklinski.
Yeah.
And he used to walk around at 2 o'clock in the morning when I was working midnight. So I used to stop him. Real nice guy. And he would tell me about all the backstories. And the one thing he told me, so when I hear he killed 30 guys, and he may have killed 30 guys, it's always exaggerated. Like the Kuklinski said he killed 200 guys. He goes, I heard he probably killed somewhere between 15 and 20, which is a lot. Don't give it's a lot, but it's not 200. He did that for
I know guys that had probably that many bodies under them.
Yeah.
You know, I guess after a while, especially guys that went to war. Well, you know, you come back a vet and you put a couple of guys in a hole. Like killing's nothing at that point.
Did you ever run across Russell Buffalino?
No.
So I got a friend of mine that knows their family, the family that's still living, and
well, they asked me if for us had anything to do with the Anastasia hit, and I'm like, it doesn't sound right that he would have that kind of. Maybe he put a vote in. I know they took out Anastasia because he became a problem. Mm-hmm. He killed a civilian because the civilian ratted out. I don't know. He saw the guy on a train, and he basically called into the police that the guy that they were looking for was on the train. And Anastasia found out about that and killed the guy because he was a rat. And that is why Anastasia got killed. It's because he took out a civilian. He was also cuckoo. He was a fucking nut. And that's why I like playing him. I wish there was more in depth of me playing him. In fact, if there are any producers out there that want to do this story, 3 times is a charm, I'd like to play Anastasia in order to regale you from Murder Incorporated because I played them well.
You actually been studying for these roles your entire life without actually studying for these roles.
Exactly. I could do mobster in my sleep, but I do love doing cops. I love doing detectives.
You make a good detective.
Oh, absolutely. And I have played a detective many times. I played a sheriff. I played a detective. I think I'm up in the age group where now I'd be a chief or chief of department or a captain maybe or a lieutenant.
I got too much gray in my beard to play a detective anymore.
That's not true. That's not true. I mean, a lot of detectives stay the course. I know guys that worked as a detective into their 60s because they loved the job and they just didn't want to. They had nothing to go home to, so they stayed a detective.
That's the funny thing about somebody who grew up the way you did. You grew up around all these gangsters. You know all these gangsters. I didn't grow up around cops, but I spent the better part of my adult life being around cops. And here's what I found. People who grew up like you versus people who come from a background like me, when those lives are separated, there's actually a lot in common with us.
Oh, absolutely.
I will bet you that our personalities are very, very similar.
One thing I'm going to say about a gangster is, listen, the streets were safer.
Yeah.
The streets were safer. You wouldn't see all this bullshit going on if these wise guys were still around. If John Gotti was still running New York at some point, you wouldn't have half of this crap going on.
Let me put this on a global scale for you. I thought the death of Saddam Hussein was one of the greatest things ever because the guy was a tyrant. The guy was a maniac. What happened when they killed Saddam Hussein? The Middle East fell apart because you need animals.
He kept them in line.
You need people to keep other people in line.
He kept them in line.
And only the person that can keep them in line is the head animal.
Bro, that whole thing with the Bushes, and don't even get me started. Listen, you know the way I lean politics-wise, but I hated that regime too. You know, to me, they were the evil empire.
Could be.
You know, they were.
Yeah.
They're just as bad as Obama and Klan, and I have no problem talking about him because I hate him.
But
I feel like he was the he was the wedge in this country.
The point of that being is you need those guys. Like, you need those heavy duty mobsters.
Yes, you do.
There. And
The best devil is the devil you know.
Oh, I use that one all the time.
The best devil is the devil you know. Leave the people there.
So getting back to your career, what was the first big role that you got where you're like, oh my God, like this? Because you're young still and you're acting and you're doing your thing and it's exciting and it's adventurous, but all of a sudden you hit something like, oh my God.
Oh, Goodfellas. I mean, I went up right neck and neck with Ray Liotta for his role. And they went with Ray, and I know why they went with Ray. Ray had just done Something Wild with Melanie Griffith.
Oh, so okay,
and he was a maniac in it. And I said, Ray's going to get this. Even Marty told me, and he said, Gary, we're leading toward Ray. We just saw him in this movie.
I like the fact that you call Martin Scorsese Marty. That just cracks me up.
I've worked with him 9 times already.
That just cracks me up.
I won't call him Mr. Scorsese. I call him Marty.
With people like that, people who I respect, I don't know them, but I would always give them the respect of saying Mister.
Nah, he's Marty.
He's
Marty. I produced a movie for his daughter, Dominica. I was friends with his daughter, Kathy, who was a prop master. So I know the Scorseses very well. And Marty's been very, very good to me ever since Goodfellas. He's had me up for almost everything he's done.
You said there's plenty of Italian-American actors, but there's not a whole lot of people in that genre the way you are. Like you are a staple. And I've read your IMDb and I've read the things that you've done, and some of the things I'm like, oh my God. So, you know, when your name gets out there as a seasoned actor in this field, you know, it's I guess, does that make life a little bit easier for you?
It doesn't. I think that listen, what you see with me is what you get. There's no watered down Gary. And a lot of times when I left to go to set, like when I was on The Deuce and I played Matty the Horse, I left my house as Matty the Horse. If you got in my way, you were meeting Matty the Horse that day until I was wrapped.
That's method acting, correct?
Yes, it is method, but that's the way I had to be because I didn't want to break character. When I played Matty, and if you watch, you can go on YouTube and watch all of this stuff. You can see like a whole season's laid out. You see when I go in from one episode to the next, I'm right back in character. That's what James Gandolfini did. He didn't talk like Tony Soprano. He didn't talk like that. Jimmy was very well spoken.
He was very intelligent.
Very intelligent, very well spoken. And in order for him to get into character, that's why if he kind of puts you on a pay me no mind list, it's only because he's thinking about being what he's got to do.
I was thinking, and again, the one time I worked those sets as a cop several times, but the one time it was 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm pretty sure he had been partying somewhere. I'm pretty sure. And I didn't take offense to it. I really didn't he had a job to do. I had a job to do. And I don't get starstruck very, very easily. Mm-hmm. I think the only time I ever got starstruck is I met Robert Redford once. All right. And that was Robert Redford said the best thing. And I tell this story quite frequently. A friend of mine who was a director in New York, he was one of my college professors. Mm-hmm. I had a couple film classes in college, and
Where'd you go?
Fairleigh Dickinson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. FDU. So I met my professor for lunch. He was filming something in New York, and we met at Arthur's in Morris Plains. I go in, I sit down, and who's he got with him? He's got Robert Redford with him. And I'm like, I go, John, what did you do, man? You can't give me a heads up and tell me you're bringing one of the biggest actors who ever lived. And so Redford goes into the bathroom, comes back, and you say, Bob, again, calls him Bob. Comes, Kevin's a little nervous here. And Robert Redford, God rest his soul, says, he goes, Kevin, I wiped my ass with one hand just like you. And it was fine after that. Like it just disarmed me completely.
That's the truth, though. These guys that have to be put on a pedestal, I don't want to be bothered with. I am so not Hollywood. If you can't tell that, I don't like Hollywood. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't like all the glam and the shishi and the bullshit. I'd rather do independent films because I don't have to deal with that mentality. You know, I don't want to have to get into who can I talk to, who can I look at, who doesn't want to see me. I'll be honest with you. I worked with Jeremy Piven. I did a movie with him. The first day, I paid absolutely no attention to him. I let him vibe me out. And the next day, he came over to me and he started talking to me. And he said, I saw you out here yesterday. I said, I wanted to give you space. I don't know you. And he goes, nobody does that, dude. And he appreciated it.
Well, you are your public persona 24/7. Okay.
Yeah.
If they see Garry Pastore and they've seen you in Goodfellas, they've seen you in Preetsy's Honor, they've seen you in A Bronx Tale, they've seen you in all these huge movies, right? Well, that's who they think you are, and you're a human being.
I am.
If you were having I have bad days.
I have
okay?
many.
If you're having a bad day and somebody comes up to you and tries to get an autograph or something like that, you all get hit at that. We all get hit at that time.
I have no problem with that. If it wasn't for fans, if it wasn't for the people that actually watch my movies and go, wow, this guy's a great fucking actor. And I'd like to hear more of that. I cannot believe how, even Mike Marino, I'm at his house the other day. He's convalescing at home. He never really researched my career. We put my stuff from YouTube up on his television. Like, I went in there on his widget and I put up YouTube. And he watched my shows that I've done. He goes, you're amazing. I didn't know that you had this in you. I said, I didn't know that you never saw it. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
I get that a lot, that people just don't go through the trouble to watch the shit I've done. And it's out there.
A lot of it.
A lot of it. I make it out there so people could watch it, so people could see. I'm not a braggart. Did I come in here cocky and braggy?
Not at all.
Not at all. I'm a regular fucking guy.
But how you present to a person their first meeting is how you are for the rest of their life.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So if you have some sort of negative interaction, oh, I saw that guy on the street, he was an asshole. When that's not you.
That's not me.
That you're being judged by that one moment in time.
I'm the nicest person in the world until I'm not.
Until people say that Mike Marino died.
Yeah, until I'm not.
So was there one role that you just thought, hey, okay, this is the way, when you were younger, this is where I'm going?
Goodfellas, yeah. And then I did Copland I worked on that from July 3rd.
Copland,
July 3rd, I started that, 1996, and I was with all the actors, me, Sly. We were taking still shots in a bar right by the old homestead. I don't remember the name of it. It was right next door. We took a lot of the still shots that were used throughout the movie in that bar that day, us shooting pool, playing darts.
In Garrison.
Yes, and I was in Harvey Keitel's crew. I was one of his bad cops. So I worked from July 3rd till October 3rd, I believe. I made a ton of money. And I said, wow, look at this. And then I saw the film when it came out, and I was just about in every scene. Stallone had taken the movie and recut it, and I was cut out of almost every scene.
Really?
And I found that weird, but whatever. Yeah. From the original one that I saw, the original cut, I was in it a lot. There was this scene there. These black kids came upon us while we were playing softball. It was bad. It looked really racial, and I think that's why they cut it out. But that scene was great, the softball scene, and that was gone.
There's a lot of anxiety in what you do, and I often think about this. You have a family to support. I don't know if you were married at this time or started having kids at this time.
I was married twice.
Okay, so
first one left. She vaulted.
You have to have practice run. That's all that is.
Well, she just didn't seem, she was getting a lot of heat about me doing this. Her father had got me working for the city of New York, working with the police department. So I was with them for a couple of years, and that didn't work out too well.
But there's no safety net.
There was no safety net, and I wound up leaving that. And she left me because she saw no security. Now I think she could be sorry. I've made a great living. I've, I was also
followed your dream.
Followed my dream. I also was a stagehand for 25 years, working in that union. I just retired. I took my pension, my 401. I get health benefits.
That's the big one.
Yeah, bro. I did it the smart way.
You know, because I see a lot of people that go chase a dream and it's scary because if you
Well, they
fall,
don't have a job. They don't have a backup plan.
Correct.
I always had a backup plan. And then people are jealous of me because I had a backup plan. Well, you're stupid. You're the idiot, not me. Why are you jealous of me?
just because you did it right and planned out.
I
your
did it
career.
right. I went through the trouble of, and you got to understand something. I told Mikey this the other day. I have been on a set every day for the last 35 years. Every day I've worked
That's
on
insane.
a set, either behind the camera or in front of a camera. I know everything about a set. I know who's supposed to do what. I know how long it takes to set up a light. I know how long it takes to take down a light.
But that's called being a professional.
Yes,
All right, so-
I know more than producers know.
So whether you're an actor or whether you're a podcast producer, whatever it is, if you don't know everything about your craft, I have to say you're not a professional. And if you're not reading something about your craft every single day, you're not a professional. With the podcasting world, there are certain things that I rely on some people to do because they do it better than me. Doesn't mean I don't know how to do it. I just might not be able to do it as well to them. If they drop the ball, I can pick that up. So for you to do that and really get involved in the minutia of the film world, it's like, I can do it, but you can do it better, so I'm going to rely on you. But if you screw up, I can pick that up.
Well, what's good is I help other actors. I know how to block. I know screenshots. Sometimes I'll have a suggestion if I'm working with a independent director. I said, why don't we try this? And a lot of them are good with it.
Mhm.
I know how to improvise. A lot of times I get dialogue. It's too talky. I hate talky. To me, the best acting is here. It's here. Don't even say anything. And I'll give you the perfect example. Michael Corleone comes out of the bathroom, right? Comes out of the bathroom. He just takes the gun from behind the toilet. He's got McCluskey.
Oh, he's sitting there and his eyes are flicking. That's
Yeah, and what the heck was his name?
Salazzo.
Salazzo. And he's just looking. It's the best acting ever. He didn't say a fucking word. He's looking at them, and he's thinking it, and you could see his mind working. You shot my father, you punched me in the jaw, you're going to fucking die for this. And he looks, and boom, boom. And he drops the gun and walks out of the room.
Is that the canon, The Godfather, for acting?
I think it is probably one of the most superlative films.
It's
Because
it's a remote drop every time it's on.
Did you see nobody's over the top in that?
Nope.
It's subtle. You know what I had when I was doing The Deuce? I go in and I'm shaking down this guy in a gay bar. And I don't know it, but my adversary was right. Michael Rispoli already is the protection for this gay bar. And I go in and I shake it down. Now I walk in and I go, you own this fucking joint? Or whatever I said. Oh, you own this shithole? And the director goes, Gary, come here. He goes, take it down 50%. I said, what? He goes, dude, your presence is enough. He says, take it down 50%, and then I want you to go, you own this shithole? Just like that. And I went, and I saw it, and he's right. It's scarier. It's scarier because I go in there with the air of authority. Not over the top, not too high. Take it down. I tell actors all the time, dare to be different. Dare to be different. You know, these guys that do these mob shows, they're all mugging him. Hey, I'm going to take him in a woods. I'm going to fucking kill him. I'm going to crack him in the head. Just do it. Shut up. Don't say anything and do it.
That's how I see like Jersey Shore. The kids from Jersey Shore, they're all playing like.
It's a nightmare, bro.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. And sometimes I work on these shows and I regret doing them because I look at what I'm working with. You know, everybody now since COVID, they all think they're actors. They picked up a camera. They did this, they did that. Oh, that guy's got an easy job. You know, I'll give you credit where credit's due. If you study and you're good, have at it.
There's only one person recently that I put any kind of weight into as being an actor, and I had heard that he did not really study acting at all, and that was Aaron Paul, and that was Breaking Bad.
I love Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul, if you watch the backstory of him, he'll tell you because I never studied acting. I didn't.
He was
know
just
anything.
perfect for it.
He was just the perfect role. But he's really never done anything since that held any weight. That was just the perfect role for him.
A lot of guys are burnt out, bro. Even the kid, Michael, he was in the first season of Boardwalk Empire. And he was one of the best characters on the show. He plays the son, Darmody.
Yeah, Michael.
I I was in a movie with him. I was in Rob the Mob with him.
He was supposed to be the next big thing.
Yeah, and he liked his music, and I don't know, people just get burnt out. You know, they think that it's first of all, don't do this for glory. Don't do it for fame or fortune. If you do, you're an idiot.
I said the same thing about doing podcasts.
I'm going to look at the camera again. If you do this for fame or fortune, you're an idiot. Go get a job. Don't do this.
You have to do something because you love it. Okay?
Exactly.
So people, new podcasters will reach out to me and say, I'm looking to do, and I will advise them off of the mistakes that I have made. And I said, but this is the one thing I say, if you're looking to make money from this, you won't. This is not a money-making thing. You're not going to be Joe Rogan. You're not going to be Sean Ryan. It's not going to happen. However, it is an incredibly fulfilling experience if you do it the right way, money aside, okay? The worst thing you can do is chase the money. In anything, that's the worst thing you can do, because if you're making $500,000 or you're making $50,000 and you're miserable at that job, you're still going to be miserable at both ends of the scale. You know, and I imagine that's the same way at acting. You see these people, they're making money after money, and they got all the same problems, even more problems than most people.
Bro, I'm on the back end of this golf game. I'm on the back nine. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. I've done what I've done.
I don't think you are.
I've done what I've done. If I continue to get work, bravo. I have no more fucks to give.
Your roles changed, though. I don't think you are.
Oh, no. I just played an Irish priest with a brogue. I swear to God. I did.
Now, did you take any classes, or is this...
Yes, I took classes in the beginning.
Yeah.
I did. But, you know, you could be classed out. Again, look at the magic that happened to me. I was on set every day for 35 years. I watched actors act. I watched directors direct. I watched writers write. I watched people perform. I watched bad actors act. I watched great actors act.
So what's the mark of a good actor versus a bad actor? If you had to just put it down into a couple,
don't act.
Things. Don't act.
Don't act. React. Do not act. Don't go out there thinking you have to act.
I heard this thing from Michael Caine once. Michael Caine was talking about, he goes, if you're talking to somebody on camera, shift your eyes a little bit to the left and then just turn your eyes. And it changes the whole feeling.
Of course it does. And looking up at somebody has just a masterful, you know. I mean, Jimmy Gandolfini was great at that. One of the best, what made him, I think, so scary and sometimes is the way he looked at you like this. You know, where he looked almost down and then up at you. You know, there's little nuances and there's things you learn. Obviously, you're not seeing what the director sees because you're just doing. I go on set, I make believe the camera's not even fucking there. I don't pay attention to it. As soon as you realize that camera's shooting at you and you're acting, you're going to ruin whatever it is you're trying to do.
You know, you just said something really important to me, because we get a lot of people in here, never been on a podcast, and they get a little nervous because they get the cameras and the lights and stuff like this. I said, if I do my job correctly in 5 minutes, you're going to forget about these cameras. It's if I relax you enough. And then once the first 5 minutes, you'll see they're a little jumpy, and it comes across on camera. It's really strange the way that happens. But when they relax and they forget that stuff's there,
they snap into it.
It's beautiful.
But that's that. See, you see how much is involved with being an actor?
Oh,
what about the words? Okay, somebody gives you a script, they're a writer, and you're looking at the words, but if you don't believe the words, they're not going to come out true. I have to believe what I'm saying is true. There's a lot of times I get bad writing, and it unfortunately, like with television, you can't change a word, not a word. They will come down on you. They'll cut. It's embarrassing. Cut. The script supervisor comes out. It happened to me on a Blacklist. I wanted to cut out one word. That's because I allowed you to. I wanted to take out that's. The guy says to me, blah, blah, blah. And I said, that's because I allowed you to. I wanted to say, because I allowed you to.
Changes the tone.
See how strong?
Yeah.
Okay? For that's, I got my balls broken. They called my manager. James, what's his name? Spader. James Spader made a big deal out of it. They called my manager. My manager had to call me. I was embarrassed, humiliated. because I wanted to change a word where I thought I was going to make a better performance. This is the douchebaggery that I have to deal with in this business.
I like the fact that you used douchebaggery because I thought I was the only person to use that word.
Oh, no. Twat, waffle, and douchebaggery, 2 favorite words.
So here's what I know about acting.
Go ahead.
Okay? I'm just a complete amateur. In college, I was a Shakespeare major.
Right.
I love Shakespeare.
Okay.
So I thought, hey, listen, I have this love for Shakespeare. I have this affinity to understand what's being said. I even read it in Middle English, in the original English, and it becomes more of a poem and stuff like this. So I thought I could get on stage, and I did Act 3, Scene 1 of Hamlet. Most famous scene ever, and that's the soliloquy, to be or not to be speech, and I still remember it to this day, 30 years later. I didn't realize that while I'm trying to recite the lines and act out whatever is going on in that scene, how difficult and how big of an ask that was. I had to believe what I was saying, but I also had to move as if I understood. It was the most unnatural thing. It was like walking backwards. I got through it, okay? But it was like walking backwards. I'm sure if I walked backwards long enough, I would feel comfortable doing it. But the first time, I was like, holy cow. And it gave me such a whole new respect for that craft.
Well, me doing Shakespeare, is it a stretch? Yeah. Can I do it? Absolutely. Again, I have to believe that what I'm reading is true because that is going to ring out. And take what you're getting, respond, react. These are the things that we do as actors. If I'm reading the dialogue and the dialogue's written like a poem and it's beautiful, it's a wonderful thing. If I wouldn't say that, now I say I'm a wise guy, okay? And you give me some bullshit dialogue that sounds like fluff. I'll tell, especially if it's an indie film, I'll go over to the director. I say, a wise guy won't say that. I did it to Balls on Me. I did it to the 2 writers from The Deuce, George Pelicanos and oh my God, I am so bad with names.
I'm surprised.
And David Simon. Okay, there was a thing where they said something, and I said, you know what? A wise guy wouldn't say that. They would say this. He goes, give me a minute. They walked over, they talked. He said, do it your way, because they thought about it. It was a little more raw. It was a little more rough. It was a little more street. And I just want to go out there and give a performance. I'm not being a dick. But if I'm going to say something, I have to believe what I'm saying.
You also have to play to people's strengths on that stuff. Okay, when you have a background in that, so they have to respect you enough to say, okay, this guy grew up. Maybe he's got a little bit more knowledge than some bookworm writing.
Listen, you're a cop. Okay, if you don't like, a cop would not say that. I don't want it said. I wrote a script called The Lunatics about a bunch of 50, 60-year-old cops that are getting out and they grab a big case before they retire. And I wrote the dialogue, and the dialogue's spot on. And every police officer that I gave it to, from here to Timbuktu, read it and said, this is a great, great movie. How did you learn to do this? I said, come on, bro.
Have you seen The Rip yet?
Yes, I just saw it.
Just saw it, which I thought it was a pretty good movie. One of the things I respect about that movie is that's through Ben Affleck and
I love those 2 guys. Yeah, they're great.
So what they started doing is it's like a share with the production cast. Where movie does well, they get bonuses. Like if a movie keeps going, you get residuals and stuff. So they get bonuses and sharing that because what that does is it creates a little bit more magic in the movie business.
You know who's going to hate it? It's the studio's going to hate it.
Yeah. Well, Netflix doesn't care anyway.
They don't really give a shit, but I know a lot of the studios are not going to go for that. They're not going to be happy about that. They don't want to listen. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'll say this out loud. I have no problem because I'm retired. The majority of the producers treat their crew like shit. They step on you. They make you work long hours. I lost many friends because they worked those 14, 15 hours and they drove home and killed themselves because they went off the road. Because the producers didn't give a shit. And they didn't want to give you a hotel. And then they tried to give you one night they put me up in a hotel. There were crackheads and hookers out front. I slept in my car. I swear to God.
I was out in California.
I swear to God, I slept in my car rather than going to this hotel with the hookers and crackheads. And who knows what?
I filmed something in California, and it was the only time that I felt like I was puffing up. I go out to California to film something. They fly me out there and everything, and it's like, oh, we got this. It's a guest house I'm thinking it's California, guest house. All right, kind of neat. You know, listen, Kid O'Callaghan stayed in a guest house.
So that got him.
I walk into the guest house, and it's a fold-out sofa. I'm 6'3". There's no TV. There's no Wi-Fi password. There's no air conditioning, and it's in the summer. I call him up. I call the director up, and I go, if I don't get a hotel, I'm going home. I'm not gonna be able to work tomorrow unless I have a bed, and I can't fit on this bed. And it was the only time I ever felt that. But if I would have just acquiesced to it, I would have been crippled the next day.
Well, that happened to me too. I was playing a sheriff out in Pennsylvania, and they got me a log cabin in the middle of the woods. In fact, I walked out and there was a bobcat, and I had to kind of like tiptoe back into, because he was there, and he was right out in the path. And I went, oh, nice, good morning, hi. And I walked back in, but there were crucifixes everywhere. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. I go to church even. But there were crucifixes everywhere. And I said, I can't, guys. Put me in a hotel room.
So the one project that you had sent me when we first connected, the one project that you sent me that I am very, very interested in, because it's funny how here you are, you're an actor, and if somebody looks at that from the outside, they'll be like, oh, you live this great life and everything, and you make money and you're doing what you love, but there's stresses involved in all that stuff. So this documentary you made, Distressed.
Oh, yeah.
And it shows how your lifestyle, how it can distress you, but then you go out and talk to other people and you gain this perspective. And I really did like your interactions with your agent, by the way. Tell me a little bit about Distressed, why it was so important.
I had gone through the downward spiral from 9/11. I lost 5 friends that I grew up with, a cousin, most of them firefighters, and I kept going to wakes, and the wakes and the funerals and all of it just put me in despair. The business had slowed down to a halt. We weren't working. Just the whole sadness of it. So I got, I guess you would call PTSD from it. I went down the first week, worked on a pile. It was something that just stuck with me. You know, it was terrible. It was a terrible experience. And because of that, I went into a downward spiral. You know, I got diagnosed with PTSD. I tried to get out of it. I had no more oomph. I had no positivity. And instead of feeling sorry for myself, you know, my father always said, as a man who cried he had no shoes till he met a man who had no feet. And that's basically what I did. I went out and I met people from across the globe that experienced worse than me. A girl lost her family in a tornado in Oklahoma, met her, and, you know, drove home and dealt with Sandy. And Brian Delberian, who was an Army Ranger who came back with one limb from Afghanistan. I got him off his drug addiction. He wound up succumbing eventually, sadly.
The funny part is, especially about him, when you watch him in the documentary, his outlook on life seems very positive. You're like, oh, this guy's got it.
He was. Wounded Warriors built him a house. He got a ramp. I took him fishing.
Yeah.
You had to see him fishing with one arm. He was an amazing character. I loved him, and it's sad that he's gone. But I know that I did good work, you know. I know that the movie is good work, and I really wish more. I put it on YouTube. I stopped making, you know, trying to make money off of it. And I put the money up for that, you know, a lot of it, of my own personal funding.
Well, you know what? I think we have the trailer to that, and I want to play it right now with your permission, if that's
Sure.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, you want to run that?
Distressed is a movie for the ages. It follows one man's journey to find sanity in an insane world. There's always something that just stresses you out. Going to work can stress you out. Coming home from work can stress you out. Everybody's stressed. And because everybody's stressed, I just felt it was a good film to get out there, teach the world how to combat stress. What I have done and what helps me to combat stress is to come upon other people who have it far worse than I have. But I met people that did lose people and came close to their own demise, and soldiers that were in war, and policemen that were in shootouts. And that's what this movie's about. It's about not complaining because you have no shoes until you meet a man that has no feet.
Well, you know what you can do for stress? Stress, you know what's good for stress? Yoga. My daughter teaches yoga.
Sweep the arms up, keeping the past behind you.
I tried to keep it light, but unfortunately, when you deal with death or injury or despair, sometimes it's not that light. So the film will have its moments, but I promise you, you will leave smiling or go through a mixed range of emotions.
Just sit. Sit in child's
Sit on my
pose.
couch in my
Sit
child's
in
pose.
child's pose.
I can't even
Reach.
walk.
So there were certain scenes when I watched that, and so
Now, mind you, I shot that 2014, I think.
there. I know it was shot in different. You could see, you know, you can see ages, I guess. But there were. Here's where it got me. There were certain scenes inside there that made me tear up because I felt what they were feeling. So whatever you did, however you did it, you made the emotion come through the camera, and that's a big ask for somebody to do.
Well, it wasn't just me. It was my my partner in crime, Foka Barson. He's from Holland. He shot my first movie with me, which was called Waiting for Bud, which was a short doc. And I love his style, his grace. He knows what I'm thinking before I shot it. I can't wait to do more movies with him. I'm hoping that happens. I've been trying to raise money for years to do films. I have so many great ones. I've written 10, 11 screenplays. But when it comes to writing the check, people are so full of shit. That's what I mean. It's like I'm at a point in my life. I told you, I have no more fucks to give. I have children. I have grandchildren. I'm kind of in a great space. Raising money sucks because people are, they just like, seems like they want to get together and have a cup of coffee or a steak dinner. And I'm tired of it. I just want to get money, make my movies, and move on, you know, and make people rich. Because I got a great formula.
I think you have. It's very possible one of those things in your holster right there of those scripts that you have could end up being your opus, and you've done a lot of great things. You know, it's one of those things where you feel like you're in the back nine, the sunset of your career. Well, what if you had to go through all of this stuff in order to get that one thing?
Of
that
course,
just
and you know
pushes
what?
people?
I'm taking people with me. I'm taking my friends with me that I love. Michael Marino, okay? Mikey, believe me, I want to do this for you. I want to do this for all the people that I care about in my life. I have children. I want to bring them along. I want to leave a legacy. And people have a very bad opinion about me. They think like I could be a douchebag, whatever. Come and say it to my face.
I got to be honest with you. We spoke several times. You've never once been anything but honorable to me. And
Well, because people are jealous and envious and stupid.
You don't know me from Adam.
Exactly. I get tough guys that want to fight with me on the internet. I always say, you want my address, DM me, come to my door, ring my bell, and tell me what's on your mind.
But it comes with age, right? Because I guarantee you wouldn't deal with those people the same way if you were 25 years old.
No. Now, listen, I'm still a tough guy, regardless of which. I'll still knock you out. You know, I only have so much of a what do you call it?
I think I have the more of a capability in order to verbally assault somebody before I actually assault them. I can do that too. I would prefer not to. I'm so tired of the
friggin' fake tough guys, and everybody's got a big mouth and an opinion. I've invented a show, and I'm going to talk to you about it, where you come on as a guest, and you guys hash out your problems.
I just did one like that in California. It's called The Enemies Project. I sat as a retired police officer in front of a black paid protester, and we went at it, and we found some common ground.
But that's what I want is the common ground, and also to show that, hey, maybe you're a little hard on yourself and other people, and be real. You know,
you have to start seeing people as a human being.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The human factor's gone in life.
It's good.
Gone.
So from that show, here's the funny part from that show. So they put out clips, right? They put out 45-second clips. Out of 45-second clips, you could tell the people didn't watch the show. I'm a racist. How, we can tell everything. They had my whole life planned out from a 45-second clip.
buddy.
You don't know me.
You know what it's from? It's from the persona that they get. Everybody reads from the script. First of all, if you support Trump, you suck. Right away. Right away. I'm telling you right now. You say, I'm a Trump supporter. You went from 100%, you got knocked down to 25%. Now you got 25% of you left to try and redeem yourself. Because 75% of you is going to be cut away and put on the side no matter how good you are. You could be a saint. You could have invented the cure for cancer. It doesn't matter. As soon as you put Trump and you in the same category, 75% of you is cut and gone. And that's just stupidity. You know, I could be here for the next episode and talk all about politics, but I won't.
One of the things I love to do is I love to talk with somebody who has a different opinion. I don't hate them for having a different opinion. No, I don't either. I love to, because you may say something that I didn't look at, right? Let's say you and I have a differing opinion on coffee cups. Well, you may look at that coffee cup and say something that I didn't think of, and I'll be like, huh, you know, I never thought about that.
Right.
You know, and then the next thing you know, you have a nice long conversation. Conversation. You know, one of my favorite lines is from Charlie Kirk, when we stop talking is when violence happens.
Exactly right.
And I believe that wholeheartedly.
I do too.
So, you know, you got this movie Distressed. We're going to try to push that out there because, number one, it fits in really well with the way this show is.
I want to do Distressed too, about children with stress.
Ooh. Because
they are the ones that are really messed up right now. Their way of thinking, what they're being taught in school, the brainwashing. Saul Alinsky is alive and well and living in our school system, and I want to talk about it.
So I'm writing with my partner, one of my business partners. We're writing a book called A Life Unfolding, and it's about the long-term effects of childhood abuse and childhood sexual assault.
Sexual assault. There's so many things.
Because people don't realize it. If you miss that stuff on a young child and they carry it with it throughout their life, all these things present themselves, and they are not positive.
No, they're not positive.
They are not positive.
Now look how many serial killers are victims of some kind of insidious childhood.
Yeah.
Whether they saw their mom get beat up or their mom seduced the boy. I mean, there's so much sick fuckery out there that I am, like I said, I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. My grandchildren are so precious to me.
Sitting down and talking to you, you have this multifaceted, you can talk about the wise guy, like real wise guys, not acting stuff.
No, real wise guys.
You can talk about the acting portion of it. You can talk about the mental health behind pretty much everybody. I am really blown away, Gary.
Thank you.
Really, really blown away. I think you're no wonder Mike likes you. He don't like anybody. No, I'm just kidding you, Mike.
Poor Mikey. My Mikey. Everybody say a prayer for Michael.
He's going to come back. I'm going to tell you, this is going to be one of the best things that ever happened to him once he gets through this.
I told him to call it the Coming Back from the Dead tour.
Well, he told me out of his own mouth that comedy is tragedy over time.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is.
So by going through what he's going through, he just bought himself like another 40 years of an act.
Oh, absolutely. We were talking the other night. I spend a lot of time over his house lately because I love him, and I care about him. And we did a lot of soul searching, It's amazing. You get a bunch of guys who are 60 and they've been through the mill. And all we have right now is life and advice to give. That's what I'm full of, is advice. If people need advice, track me down.
I like the fact that you're willing to show the vulnerabilities and the hard things and how much you love people. I always say that the recipe for a happy life is be honest and tell people you love them. It's pretty simple.
Oh, I told you. I'm your best friend, your worst enemy. Choose one. I'm the greatest guy in the world until I'm not. I don't know how else to put it out there. If you need me, I will help you. I might not be able to give you all the riches and money in the world, but I can give you advice.
Yeah.
I can put my arm around you and tell you, hey, listen, everything's going to be all right.
Well, Mike will tell you, there's certain times I called him and I say, like, hey, I'm dealing with this on my life. I know you dealt with something like this before. How did you handle it?
Oh, by the way, now you got my number.
I certainly appreciate that.
I'm there.
You have experience in something that I'm experiencing for the first time, and I want to make sure I'm handling it right with the proper counsel. So, Gary, we're coming to the end of this thing here.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, well, there's always part two, bro.
That sucks. This went like
It's always part two. I love sitting down and talking with interesting people like yourself. But you've done what most people can only dream of. You've been a working actor for 40 years.
Yep.
You've come from a childhood that could have sucked you into another direction.
My childhood sucked, period.
But you chose to turn that lemons into lemonade type of thing.
Exactly.
And you've experienced all these great things, and you've seen all these great things. You know Martin Scorsese as Marty. That alone is like top.
I love Marty. Marty, I love you, buddy.
I don't think he's watching the Suffering podcast.
You never know. But he should know I do.
But, you know, along the way, you've had you've had your stresses. You lost a lot of people in 9/11. You've had this life with no safety net. And I always say that suffering, passio, is the best.
What is this? Persto. You know what that means?
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Persevere. Stay in the game.
All this stuff that you've went through had to teach you something, because any pain and suffering you go through that you don't draw a lesson from, it is a wasted experience. So if you could tell me what you're suffering of being an actor for all these years, growing up the way that you did and producing all these movies, what has it taught you?
Just to be a better person. Get up every day and be a better person. Don't do this stupid friggin' business that it is. It is the most narcissistic, disgusting, disgraceful pit sometimes. Don't be like every other jerk. Dare to be different. Try and change the face of the business. I mean, the first question I get hit with is, what were the darkest things you had to deal with in it? I mean, so right away, it's perceived as being a shithole or cesspool of a business. And in a way, that person is right, you know.
But people still do it.
But people still do it because of the intrigue, because it's a sexy business, because they want to be an actor, because they're going to get fame or fortune, or they think they're going to get laid. I mean, there's so many stupid reasons that people get in this business. And if it's any of the ones I just said, don't do me a favor. Don't get in it. Don't get in it to get laid, because then you're a piece of shit. Don't get in it because you think you're going to be rich, because you're not. Don't get in it because you want the glory and you want to ride around in your car and hope people recognize you. Please, those are the guys I want to punch in the face. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Go do something else. And I'm sorry, I speak off the cuff. I'm black and white. There is no gray area with Garry Pastore.
Best
None.
people in the world are black and white.
None. But people don't like it. People want to live in a gray world. They want to be bullshitted to. They want you to tell them, oh, the sky is blue. Meanwhile, it's snowing. Come on. Be real, people. Let's be humans again. And that goes for this industry. Be fucking humans again. I'm fed up. And I have a right to be. And again, I'm on the back nine of this golf game. I got no more fucks to give.
But being in the business 40 years, you actually have the ability to change it.
I'm trying. I just need people to listen. Listen. Listen to what we're saying. There should not be any walls between the left and the right, because of the way you vote should not be whether you work or not.
That's something that scares the hell
It's
out of me.
backwards McCarthyism.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
And they don't want to admit it, but it is.
Yeah.
How I vote, who I vote for, and my idea of politics. Can I tell you something? I probably feel the same way about Donald Trump as most people do. I like his politics. I like what he does. I like how he does it.
You may have to explain what McCarthyism to the audience, because that's the 50s. Don't forget McCarthy.
It was called, they were against anybody who could have been communist.
Right, and they blacklisted.
And Bud Schulberg, who I did On the Waterfront, I did the play, and I made the movie Waiting for Bud about On the Waterfront, and I met Bud Schulberg, was a known communist. And he was, I tell you, Bud Schulberg's story is incredible. And he got blacklisted because he was a communist. Now, communists are welcome in the business.
Yeah, well.
It's like they get the pat on the back. And I don't understand it.
So where can our audience find you?
Garry with 2 R's _ Pastore. And it's Garry with 2 R's because there was a Garry with 1 R in the union. And I couldn't join Screen Actors Guild with 1 R, so I had to put another R in. So there's your answer. Garry with 2 R's, Pastore. Garry _ Pastore at, what do we call it? Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I don't like social media, but I know it's a necessary evil. You can watch my stuff on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, Garry Pastore.
All this stuff's going to be in the show notes.
Distressed is on YouTube. Waiting for Bud is on YouTube. I directed both of those. They're award-winning films. Watch them, and they're free. I don't know why I'm looking at the mic.
Because you're focusing. You're doing that method.
I'm doing a method thing. And where else? Oh, I'm doing a podcast called Breaking Balls with Johnny P. It's a comedy show, and I do break balls. And it's on most of the podcast networks. YouTube, I forgot what else. Spotify, Apple, yeah. All that stuff.
And the thousands of other sub ones that all filters around.
Exactly.
Well, Gary, I really appreciate you. I do want to have you back in here because I think we've left a lot on the table. I think there's a lot more for us to talk about.
Oh, no doubt. I'll come back.
And hopefully I'll see you. I'll come down and see you and Mike if
yes, come down to Mike's house.
And then we'll hang out for a little bit.
We'll have lunch together. We'll take him out.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, are you kidding me? This was a pleasure, and I can't wait to come back.
You're a good actor. And that's going to do it for this episode of The Suffering Podcast, The Suffering of an Actor with Garry Pastore. And let's think about all the stuff that we learn. There are a lot of goals in the industry. You prepare for your career by just growing up the way you do. If you believe it, it's true. Every profession has its stress, but most importantly, dare to be different. And that's going to do it for this episode. Don't forget to go to popple.com, put in the code TSP20 for a 20% discount on your digital business card. Follow us on all social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Clapper, and OnlyFans. Follow me at Real Kevin Donaldson, and of course, follow The Suffering Podcast. We'll see you on the next episode.